U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to impose a 100% tariff on all Canadian goods entering the United States if Canada proceeds with what he described as a deal with China, sharply escalating tensions between the two longtime allies. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One after departing the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, Trump issued the warning through a social media post, days after Prime Minister Carney delivered a high-profile speech in Davos that was widely seen as a challenge to U.S. economic influence. Trump did not clearly define what he meant by a deal, but the warning comes shortly after Canada and China reached an agreement allowing 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles to enter the Canadian market at a reduced tariff rate of 6.1% in exchange for China lowering tariffs on Canadian canola exports. If Governor Carney thinks he is going to make Canada a drop-off port for China to send goods and products into the United States, he is sorely mistaken, Trump wrote. China will eat Canada alive, completely devour it, including the destruction of their businesses, social fabric, and general way of life. Shift in Trump's tone. Trump's remarks mark a significant shift from his earlier response to the Canada-China agreement. Just days earlier, he appeared unconcerned, calling the deal a positive step. That's what he should be doing, Trump said at the White House last week. It's a good thing for him to sign a trade deal. If you can get a deal with China, you should do that. The sudden change in tone highlights the growing strain in U.S.-Canada relations following Carney's Davos appearance. Carney silent after Davos. CBC News reports that the Prime Minister's office has not yet commented on Trump's latest threat. Prime Minister Carney has also not taken questions from the media since returning to Canada from trips to China, Qatar, and Davos, despite a week in which he forcefully criticized U.S. actions twice. Carney was expected to speak with reporters following a two-day cabinet retreat in Quebec City, but his scheduled news conference was abruptly canceled. An official cited scheduling constraints. Davos speech sparks backlash. At the World Economic Forum, Carney received praise from global leaders for a speech in which he argued that American hegemony and other great powers are increasingly using economic integration as a weapon. The old order is not coming back, Carney said. We should not mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy, but from the fracture we can build something better, stronger, and more just. Trump responded directly during his own Davos speech, saying, "Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements." U.S. officials defend trade relationship. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick also criticized Canada, accusing it of complaining despite enjoying one of the most favorable trade relationships with the United States. "Give me a break," Lutnick said during a media interview in Davos. "They have the second best deal in the world, and all I gotta do is listen to this guy whine and complain." Relationship deteriorating. The exchange marks a notable deterioration in relations between Canada and the United States, raising concerns about potential economic fallout if Trump follows through with his tariff threat. Analysts warn that a 100% tariff would severely disrupt trade between the two countries, whose economies are deeply intertwined. As tensions rise, attention now turns to whether Ottawa will respond publicly and whether Washington will move from rhetoric to action.